Max Morton, who has been involved into all our albums so far, and he has been working with this upcoming EP also. And he just pushes the button, and we start listening the song, and there is the intro, and then it's her time to start, and then boom, and then once again this feeling. How does she do this?
Yeah, we will most probably work with the same producer, Max Morton from Kiev, because first of all we really trust Max and we love working with him. He's a real professional. On the other hand, we, like I told you, quite possibly the full album will be sort of follow up for Michael. So it's conceptually should be close to each other, at least in terms of production. And if we want to keep this structure, you just need to work with the same producer, the same one we working on Minecraft.
Some of those songs I found really, really hard to compose and sing in the studio. And yeah, with the help of Max Morton, who is actually the
producer.
Yeah.
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 You know, so
There are a lot of new melodies that you will be very surprised of.
What I'm personally very proud of is the work of our sound producer, Max Morton. He did it absolutely fantastically.
Casca Studio.
He doesn't work at Casca Studio. We just rented Casca Studio to track drums. He works himself. He has his own studio.
Is that in Kiev too?
Kiev, yeah, Kiev. And it's something absolutely tremendous because how this record sounds. If I wouldn't be surprised if people will have it as an iconic sound. They will try to recreate it on their records, or maybe younger bands will have it as an example. And if it happens so, I will be really happy because we tried and we managed to make it absolutely organic and natural in terms of sound. So all drums sound exactly how they should sound, how it was played. No samples, no triggers, nothing like that. Same for the guitars and bass. We just made it sound just the way it sounds on stage. Not highly compressed. If we look at most of the records which are out now, they are just, this. If we look at the graphics, yeah, it's just like sausage, yeah, fat sausage, completely compressed from above and from the bottom. And personally, I am a bit tired of that sound. I want to hear a rich and huge mix. And this is what we did on Macro. Yeah.
Huge landscape of music.
Yes, yeah, sound.
Yeah.
Huge landscape of sound with very rich lows, very rich highs. The whole range, not just this middle part, yeah.
This is our first record, which we're all in the band proud of. Over every single note, every single word. They are the sound which we managed to create with Max. It's definitely at the moment the top point of our career in all the respects, musically, production-wise. But of course, the production on this record is just a level up because when we went to Max to record the album, and we already had the concept of the sound. We knew exactly how each instrument will sound. We knew how the mix will sound. Yeah, and we just explained this to Max, and Max even made it even better. This is how it happened. And all of that was possible just because we had so much time.
You've worked again with Max Morton. Does he guide when you are recording, or he gives you total freedom with your music?
The question is a bit confusing. How cannot he give us freedom? He isn't involved into writing music. Max is, you know, a sound producer. His main and primary job is, you know, working on the sound, just how to make the whole mix work, how to make this and that instrument work in the mix. Yeah, and of course he may give us a piece of advice about this and that part, and you know how to arrange it in a better way, arrange different instruments together, but nothing more than this. And it's a collaboration between him and the band. And of course, yeah, basically answering your question, yeah, there is complete freedom because nobody can really dictate us what to play and what not to play, where to go and where not to go musically. So it's of course complete freedom.
Yeah, I guess, but I ask that because sometimes some producers used to recommend some changes in the songs or stuff like that, and you have been working with Max many times, or is like another member of the band in
It
another way,
is.
you know?
It is true, and we ourselves said many times that Max is definitely a available member of the whole Ginger crew, but his involvement and his contribution to the final uh, product, let's say the final mix, is just maybe way different from what you see and how we work. We do not need anyone to help us with writing music because we ourselves are overwhelmed with musical ideas, and we definitely, so there is no shortage of musical ideas for sure. Vlad keeps writing music nonstop. Yeah, Roman is a wonderful you know, guitarist, and he comes with his arrangements very easily. Same. I mean, for me, I do not feel any difficulty at, you know, first of all, working in short periods of time under stress, even in the studio, changing something, it doesn't really take much from me. Of course, Max is helping us during the recording, but again, his most contribution is the sound of instruments, the sound of mix, but not actually the writing. Sometimes he does help with this when we just come to the dead end, and he helps Tatiana uh, quite often with the different overlays, vocal overlays. Yeah, for example, harmonies. Yeah, this is what he does a lot. Harmonies, for example, and talking about how he collaborates with us. There is even not much to explain because we feel very strong connection with him. He understands us. He understands how we want to sound at the end, and that's why he just comes up with suggestions and pieces of advice which perfectly suit us. So there is some kind of harmony and special chemistry between him and us. Because we changed the sound a lot, even soft melodies, soft parts of songs became quite heavy, and it's just the way it is. Yeah, so it's a beautiful example of how the sound of instruments may change the music. So it's not only about picking the right notes; it's also about performing these notes in the right way and making them sound like that. We simply took these demos to the studio to Max, our sound producer, and told him, "Here you go, Max. We love how it sounds. Make it even better." And he made it 10 times better.
Actually, our album sounds. We work with one guy the whole time. Like on every Ginger albums, it's one sound engineer, Max Morton, his name.
Nice.
Yeah. And where we recorded?
Yeah.
In Kiev. In Kiev.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything where I play starts from EP Micro. We recorded in Kiev.
Is there any point during the process where you seek outside consultation on it? Do you work with a producer or do you show the songs to anyone in your inner circle or anything like that?
We definitely share demos with closest friends, but a producer, the only, let's say, voice from the outside which may have an impact on our music is Max Morton, who is our sound producer for the last 4 records or 3 records.
I'm sorry, his name is Max
lost count.
Martin?
Max, well, his pseudonym is Max Morton. Yeah, his name is Max, actually. Yeah, Morton.
Sorry,
and
I thought you were for a second. I thought you were talking about Max Martin, the like guy who wrote songs for Britney Spears and stuff. Like the most. I was like, wow, how'd you get him on the payroll?
Sound designer, sound designer from Kiev, and we've been working with him for a number of years already. And yeah, he has his own view on our material. When we already each time when we work on the master record at the studio and when we are making the final recording, he can really change this and that, some notes, some arrangements, or the number of times we play a certain riff. He has his voice, let's say. He has his upper hand changing this and that. But other than this, no, nobody else really has any impact on our music except for the band themselves, ourselves.
Max told me a very interesting thing. He said that about the last record we just recorded, the one which is going to be out. He said that I know how you make your music. So we make songs and we pre-produce them, then send to Tatiana. She works on them. Nobody listens to her ideas. Nobody knows her ideas until the recording. So it was more or less the same this time, but for this time, she actually came and made first demos with vocals.
Yeah, with pre-production.
Yeah, we did the full circle of pre-production with vocals. So there were demos with vocals, and after that, she did the final vocals. But anyways, music comes first. This is what I mean. And Max says that when after everything is done, even though he knows how we make our music, it feels that she wrote very simple, catchy, let's say, songs, motives for her vocals, especially when she sings clean. And we did the arrangements to that. Just the vocals came first. He had such a feeling. And it's interesting because in the reality, everything is absolutely different, opposite. Like music, then she comes up with all these melodies to sing over these complicated riffs. And her simple yet catchy and cool vocal melodies, they make the music sound not as technical as it is really. Yeah, it is kind of covered under the layer of vocals.
What makes Max Morton the perfect guy to work with Ginger?
We perfectly understand each other. This is what I think makes him special. On the communication level, well, first of all, we speak the same language. And secondly, we've been working with the dude for, if I'm not mistaken, 11 years now. The very first mix he did for us was 2014 or even 13. So it's like 12 years. And over the years, we developed good friendship, good relationship. Max is not just a sound engineer we work with. Max is a good friend. We keep in touch just, on the routine level. I may text him and ask him how things are. He may text me and ask me how I feel. So we may talk about this and that, some news. And it's not that we just, contact each other when it's time to make new mix for the album. No. And it helps a lot because you build over the years, you build some sort of a chemistry in your relationship with people. And we are now at the point when we don't need to explain certain things. It simplifies everything. So when you know a person and you've been working with a person for 12 years, you don't need to explain some tiny little details. And it definitely speeds up the process. It makes the process way easier. And Max is one of those people who actually doesn't stand at one place like we do. He has been learning and becoming better and better as a sound engineer over all these years, and he has been moving with the band and him independently only forward and forward. That's why after 5 releases done with him, made with him, we don't feel like he's like pulling us back or we overgrew him. No, we have been growing together, and we are still, him and us. We can still impress each other in our own way and surprise each other in our own way, and that's why our cooperation is still so fruitful.